Good morning and welcome to Moments with Melinda. Thank you for joining me today. Today my guest is Ed Brennan. Hi Ed, how are you?
Hello Melinda. Great, I'm so happy to be here.
Well, thank you so much for joining me on my show today. Well, let me tell my viewers a little bit about you. Ed Brennan is a former Sugarbush ski instructor, a master ski racer, and a longtime ski columnist. He is a nonprofit fundraiser. His columns have appeared in the Valley Reporter titled Along the Fall Line. Ed's book, Just Exactly Perfect, Cautionary Tales of Skiing and Being in the Mad River Valley was released just this year. Ed has been described as a perennial searcher who weaves together psychology, Buddhism, transcendentalism, Yankee proverbs, and Grateful Dead lyrics. He escapes the boundaries of ski columns in his new book, and the reading experience is as complex as a six-sided snowflake. Wow.
You're too kind.
Did I catch you? Did I catch you in a good way?
That's
good.
A wonderful description.
That is you. Well, look, Ed, let's start at the beginning. And could you share with my viewers a little bit about your childhood growing up?
Well, I didn't grow up in Vermont. I grew up in New Jersey with four sisters and Irish Catholic parents. And my mother had one point on which her very stubborn chin would not budge, and that was education. She said, "You're getting an education, and educate yourself." And I took that seriously. So I graduated from college, and I really learned the practice of reading there from some good professors. Had the opportunity to travel the world. I worked for a big multinational pharmaceutical company, and for them, worked all over the world. And then when I was done traveling, Vermont just captured me, and my sister lived here, and her husband, my best friend and brother-in-law, was a ski bum at Sugarbush, and I would come and visit, and he'd take me on these wild adventures, skiing woods and everything, and skiing with ski bums. And at Thanksgiving one year, I just couldn't go home. So,
is that how it happened?
Yeah, that's exactly how it
happened.
How
old were you?
I was 27.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you've stayed here ever since, settled in the Mad River Valley.
Yes. Yeah.
That's fantastic. So, so you call yourself a ski? You've called yourself a ski bum. Did you feel like you were a ski bum?
Well,
what was your first job that you had when you got to Mad River? Was it to Sugarbush? Was it as a ski instructor?
Yeah, I was, like I said, it was Thanksgiving. The conditions were, miserable. It was raining, and we wore plastic bags to go skiing. But my brother-in-law said, ski school tryouts are tomorrow. Okay, that's it. I'm turning right here at 90 degrees.
Good for you. That's exactly what my husband did too. He became a ski instructor at Mad River.
I think it happens in skiing quite a bit.
So let's talk about the columns that you've written for the Valley Reporter, titled Along the Fall Line. You have a fabulous one that's in the March 19th, 2026 issue called No Ice. Talk to us a little bit about writing, how many years you've been writing for them. Is it in every weekly? Talk to us a little bit about that work, becoming a writer for the Valley Reporter.
So I've been writing the column Along the Fall Line for 6 years. And it started out when Win Smith was selling Sugarbush after a wonderful career of running Sugarbush. We had so much fun during his tenure.
Isn't he a doll? Isn't he a doll?
And it was fun. And he was selling the resort and stepping aside and selling it to Alterra. And there were talks going on. And I said to the editor of the Valley Reporter, Lisa Loomis, said, "Lisa, we have to cover this." And she said, "Ed, we don't have a ski writer this season yet." And this was October or so. And I said, "Well, I'll write it." And she said, "Well, okay, let's try it." So that's how it started. And I've been writing since.
Every week do you write a column?
It's every other week.
Every other week.
There's my column, the Alpine column, and then on the other week it's the Nordic column.
Okay.
I think it's called Tracks.
It's six years every other week. That's a lot of work.
I
love it though.
It's so much fun. I can't even describe the breadth of fun it's given me, especially now that I've published the book.
Well, it's beautifully written.
Thank you. My mom liked, education, but she also wanted us to follow our bliss. she wouldn't use that word, but she would say, follow what interests you, your joy. And it brought me to skiing, and it brought me to writing. And writing has always been kind of on the back burner for me. And when this started happening and I started delving into it more and more, I knew I was home.
So your mother had a great influence on you.
She did, yeah.
She's still alive?
She's not.
No. Oh, I'm sorry about that. So you are also a master's ski racer. Talk about the master's ski racing.
Well, as a ski instructor, you take responsibility for people when you take them skiing. There are risks. And the one overriding factor is you better know what you're teaching. So, as a ski instructor, as a ski bum, everyone's always searching for that perfect turn, really learning that technique, getting better all the time. So I went from ski bums, ski instructors, Green Mountain Valley School, allowed some time training with them. They're just amazing. And then next was Masters, and Masters is just a wonderful environment. There are some very, very good racers.
So what is the Masters? Explain that to my viewers. What is the Masters?
Masters is amateur ski racing that happens all around the country. In New England, we have the New England Masters, and they hold the full breadth of races, technical, slalom, GS, Super G, and occasionally downhills. And
so what's your specialty?
Well, that's what we did were the speed events, Super G and downhill. I can't really smash slalom gates. I'll run some GS, but my brother-in-law and I both really enjoy the speed events.
So you do it together with your brother-in-law who brought you here.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Spent a lot of time.
Good for you.
Skiing.
So let's move on to your book. Just Exactly Perfect. Cautionary Tales of Skiing and Being in the Mad River Valley by Edward Brennan. This is a compilation of a lot of your writings, right, for the Valley Reporter and your musings.
There's about 30 years.
30 years of
skiing in there. Yeah.
And I just want you to know that Alan Motes is one of my best friends. I love Alan, and Dan Egan is another great friend. David Goodman. God, you have got great people recommending this book on the back of your book. So talk to us a little bit about what inspired you to write this book. Tell my viewers. Why'd you write it?
I tell people that when I talk about writing that it's kind of a virus. But once you get it, there's no getting rid of it, except to pick up a pen and run it out of ink. And I've been doing that with no real goal of becoming a writer. I guess my whole life. Like I said, I had the opportunity to travel, and I always took notes wherever I was. And I would write letters to people as well, but I just took notes. And if I showed you the piles of notebooks I have from skiing notes, I mean, it's kind of ridiculous.
That's
just
incredible.
Notes. And I've also had the opportunity to ski out west, British Columbia, Utah, Washington, and in Europe a bit. And like Masters racers, you're always aiming for better. You're always trying to improve. So as I came in as a amateur ski instructor, you get placed down at the bottom of the list. You're teaching kids. But then you claw your way up, and you do that by chasing fast skiers,
Yep,
So,
yep.
I did that and chased the ski bums, chased the instructors, chased the race academy kids, chase everyone. And you're always trying to learn.
Do you have children?
I don't.
You don't, okay. Because I was going to say, do you chase your nieces and nephews? Or
I have nieces and nephews.
Yeah, chasing them, right?
They're way faster than me now.
So what inspired you to write this incredible book, this beautiful book? Was it that you wanted people to know the stories and the energy that created you and your great skiing? Or what was the impetus? Who inspired you to write the book? Was it just came out of you to?
There's a little push from my wife.
From your wife.
Well,
Good for her.
she-
So to your wife, thank you so much. I give
She
you
asked me
credit.
not to bring her up, but it's too
No,
late.
but we're bringing you up. What's your wife's name?
It's Melinda.
Hi, it's me.
Hi, honey.
We need to meet. But thank you so much for encouraging your husband to write this book. It's beautiful.
My wife is Nancy.
Nancy, hi Nancy. Thank you for doing
And
that.
like Bob Dylan sings in one of his songs, he said, everyone knows she's the brains behind Pa. She's a great editor.
Well, you have this thing in here where you say about women. Is that in this where you talk about women are smarter than men? He says they easily process this feminine wisdom, and we concluded rather sensibly that the world would be a better place if women were in charge. God knows they're smarter.
That's right. The women are smarter.
Well, there you go. Thank you for that.
Grateful Dead quote
So,
right there.
Ed, that's a Grateful Dead quote. Good
Yes,
for
it
them.
is.
So, would you be willing to read a little bit this chapter from your book for my viewers? It's
on
called
page
the Tao
209.
and the Tao.
The Tao and the Tao. Melinda, you know, we talked about this, and I read through it. This is
Or is there another section you'd rather read? You can pick whatever
if
you
you'd
want to read.
indulge me.
Please, I will always indulge you.
This was a great article. I'm glad you liked it. And it's two parts. There's the Tao, which like the Dow Jones, and there's the Tao, which is pronounced the same way, but that's the Tao Te Ching
Right.
from Lao Tzu. It's Chinese philosophy. And this is when I was at the first protest, the hands-off protest in Montpelier, and we've now had several more of No King's Day. And I've been to many protests before. That one was particularly striking because it's such a calm and beautiful place here, and to have politics reach so deeply into Vermont just sort of struck me. So I was in that kind of mindset. And the next day I was skiing and thinking about everything that I'd experienced and all the people I had had conversations with at that protest. And then it was a light challenge day. I think there were low clouds, so it was very hard to see. And I stopped under the Heaven's Gate chair, and as a writer of the ski column, I'm always sensitive to what's going on and looking for story, trying to just be aware of what's going on. And on the chairlift, there was this sing-song chant going all the way down the chairlift, left, right, and I swear it felt like they were speaking to me. I mean, it was really a beautiful moment. And then I went to go skiing, and it was very hard to see. And I was looking for a way to do it, and that's when I found the Tao, because the Tao, it's just a way of moving, a way of thinking, and the Tao and the Tao became the column. So,
Being at one with oneself. Yeah.
yeah.
So would you like to read that, or is there another?
It's too hard to read. I just,
All right, so
but
go
I didn't
read-
want to.
Well, then you go pick what you would like to read.
Then I want to read about Mad River Glen.
All right, you do.
Because there's
Good.
no place like Mad River
Thanks.
Glen.
And you saw my husband's film on Mad River, right? I hope.
I haven't yet.
Oh my gosh! Did I send it to you? I'll send you the link. Okay.
So this was a day at Mad River Glen, and my columns, I try and make them as in the moment as possible. I take notes on chairlifts, in the snow, in the rain, in little books like this, and then I transcribe these little
What is that one?
seed
look at
crystals.
That. Oh, come on! What is this?
This is my notebook. These
Look
are
at the notebook.
where I take
Look
notes
at
on
Ed's
chairlifts
notebook.
all the time. Oh,
I love it. This is great. So you keep this in your pocket and you take notes.
this is where everything comes from. I scribble,
incredible.
and then I expand in the column.
Good for you. Well, all right, here we are.
So this is Mad River Glen, precious, precarious, preserved, from along the fall line, the 10th of March in 2022. There are enough problems in the world so that a day of skiing is necessary therapy for a weary soul. This past Friday, I traded the flickering blue light of a computer screen for the shimmering cerulean sky of a March morning at Mad River Glen. I'm sorry if you missed it, but that right there is the lesson you're seeking as a skier anyway. Snow melts, blue skies can cloud over, and untracked powder exists only for the moment, a moment of timeless terrestrial and yet temporary beauty. After booting up, I noticed something up high to the looker's right. The rising sun was illuminating what looked like untracked snow. As a bonus, it was adding warmth to the just above 0 degree morning. The single chair would have to wait in the shade for a few runs. I asked a liftie about a traverse line to reach an interesting face. He understood immediately when I asked if it was simply left, left, left after leaving the lift. He said, sure, that'll get you there. And then he suggested a higher line. Depends what kind of skier you are. It's woods, and there are some cliffs. That's the MRG way, precious and possibly precarious on any given day. I know my way around MRG to some extent, and I have my personal preferences, as would any skier who has marveled at this 2,037 vertical foot drop of a Green Mountain majesty. Relying on topography instead of trail layouts, I rode the double chair, then hunted and found the goods. I made several runs in a range of fall lines and skied bountiful, boot-deep, untracked powder. As I became acclimated to the terrain, I began to notice that this mountain skis differently than most ski areas. At Mad River, you don't so much pick a trail by its name and strictly follow it to its terminus. You are seduced into following fall lines that topple over ice falls, dance alongside drainages, and flow through generously spaced hardwoods until you find yourself deposited onto a gentle, possibly groomed trail for a few easy turns. The fall line then returns and pulls you into woods again, plummeting into icy and snow-filled watercourses, crossing trails, always including drops over boulders, ice flows, and sometimes escorting you under cliff bands and into Utah-style, deep, traversing turns. It is like that. The technologic complexity of other mountains seems spurious when skiing here. This is old-fashioned. Ski it when you can, when the snow is good, and point 'em straight skiing. Here, you succumb to fall line. It draws you in so that you have to let go to the flow, the logic of the hill. Trails and trail signs, they come and go, but they seem to have a different purpose. They are placeholders of a sort for accumulated pitches of woods and water flows. The concept of fall line, which seems extraordinarily simple in theory, is quite difficult to consistently apply in practice. I wonder what the relationship is between fall line understanding and technique. To ski well, you need to have both. Neither are easy to attain, requiring many blissful years of application to acquire. It seems that with greater fall line awareness, much of the wrestling with technique subsides naturally. The old green lift towers contribute to the retro feel, old and protected, preserved. Many have plaques with sponsors' names on them now, as it is cooperatively owned. A cadre of committed skiers have taken the bold steps to preserve this masterpiece of falling line. Betsy Pratt, by making this co-op possible, moved humanity ahead a step by creating an enduring and peaceful place. I saw one thin cover sign, although I experienced precious little of that. Cliffs, said another sign. I saw several of those. Now that is an experience, and some of them are completely unavoidable. There is something that is uniquely Mad River-like when you come to a stop above a cliff and you really have no chance to opt out. If you can't ski it, send it. The subtle art of relaxation was being expertly practiced in General Stark's pub. I settled into a cold Lawson's Brave Little State Ale, Vermont-grown hops and malts, and enjoyed the company of a bevy of beautiful valley ladies. Some valleyites wisely pop up for lunch with a view. Skier talk revolved around the new interest in DNA testing to find out who donated your ACL. Chatter settled on the phenomenon of grumpiness, an attribute that we decided was endemic among those who do not ski. The cloudless blue skies shimmered overhead, and the quiet woods, which were parted by trails like partridge, rat, lynx, and snail, led downhill and away, far away from the clouds of data and the rising drumbeat of war. It is a peaceful place, or so it looks from a single chair.
Beautiful.
I thought that was a good piece.
That's
I
Ed
liked
Brennan
that.
reading from his book, Just Exactly Perfect, about the Mad River Glen. That is beautiful.
It's a
and as a
place.
long-time skier at Mad River, that's beautiful, really beautiful. So, so Dan Egan, who is captured in the book, Just Exactly Perfect, A Love Letter to Mountain Culture. You captured Dan in your book. Talk to us a little bit about mountain culture. When you talk about mountain culture, what do you mean when you talk about mountain culture?
Well, you know, I spent a good decade as a genuine ski bum. skiing all the time, being a ski instructor, check-ins, whatever it took to just be skiing all the time. And there's a certain feeling you get after a while. You become accustomed to people who are comfortable with a certain level of risk.
Interesting.
I've got some hardware in my leg that, I'm aware of.
It's a fellowship.
It is. It's
Of humanity, don't you think?
It's just that it draws people. I mean, you don't go skiing if you don't enjoy a challenge. I mean, just getting there some days.
Just getting on your boots nowadays. Trying to squeeze your foot into a boot.
I've got alpine touring boots. Those are delightful. Those go on like slippers.
Those are easy to get into. So in your book, you talk about the physics of skiing. Talk to us about that.
Again, teaching, you have to get people to absolutely change the way they look at what they're doing. From a chairlift, you watch people ski, and if you're trying to learn it, you're probably learning a bad lesson, because very few people are skiing, well. And if a racer goes by, he goes by so fast, you don't even get a chance to see what he's doing. So a lot of people will pick up bad habits. The physics involve, of course, the shape of the turn. And this year, I'm always working on something. And this year, I'm working on this idea that you bend the ski uphill.
Interesting.
And that seems like a bomb-proof thing. If you do that, your turn is going to work. And if you look at the shape of a C, well, it has to start up here. It has to start bending before you enter the fall line. So this concept of doing that.
Are you still teaching?
You're always either teaching or learning.
That's so interesting. Well, thank you for that. Who are some of the folks who have been described as ripping and roaring and pulling shenanigans? Who are these Mad River community? Share with my viewers a little bit about who some of those people might be.
Well, that was a review in the Valley Reporter by Lisa Loomis, and she knows the Valley as well as anyone. And she's referring probably to Bill Hickey, who's on page 19. Bill Hickey was the king of ski bums when I was a ski bum, because he just embodied the spirit of ski bumming so well. He was of such good humor. He was a great skier, of course, and a racer, and got a taste for powder. Moved out to Big Sky, and the story makes me always refer to, it always reminds me of the story of Napoleon, who says he found the crown of France in a gutter and picked it up and put it on his head himself. He used his sword. And that's kind of what Billy did. He went out to Big Sky, and they crowned him the Dirtbag King. And he's always been held in such high regard here as well as in Big Sky, Montana. Yeah, he's still out there. Yeah. There's this picture on page 19.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah. So
he's
a great example, but of course there's a whole spectrum of great people in the Valley. Ski instructors, boot fitters, and ski tuners, and people are just, it's not a sport, it's a lifestyle.
It is a lifestyle.
You can't be
it's a way of being.
It's hard to be a casual drop-in skier. You're never going to get good at it. So you have to kind of devote a large chunk of your life to it. And and
you've done that, and you've written a book about it. So share with my viewers your feelings about the climate and how it's impacting skiing. Now, Mad River has primarily natural snow, but talk to us a little bit about the impact of climate change on the future of the sport.
It's concerning, especially with the current administration buying out windmills, putting the hammer down on coal. I think the most graphic evidence I saw of it was in Chamonix when you ski out the Mer de Glace. It's a glacier that comes down almost to town. And there's an iron stairway that brings you up to a point where you can catch a trolley into town. And maybe it used to be 30 or 40, 3-4 stories down from that point. And now I think it's like 10 stories, because the glacier is receding all the time. And the people who don't believe this, who don't believe the scientists, are just lying to themselves.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, it's definitely concerning, especially for the sport. So where are you planning to do readings and book signings of your books so my viewers can come and meet you and listen to you. Do you have things scheduled?
I'm kind of shy that way.
Oh, look, you're on my show. You're not
But-
shy. You're on my show, Ed.
Here's been my marketing technique so far. I'm riding a chairlift, and I meet you on the chairlift. I say, so I just wrote this book.
Well,
Now I've made a good impression on someone.
Well, I think you should talk to Phoenix and where can people find your book?
That's, when I said that the whole experience of writing a book has been marvelous, booksellers. I've come to know booksellers, and they are just incredible people. You can find it at Phoenix Books,
Oh, good.
three locations, the Flying Pig in Shelburne, Tempest Books in Waitsfield, the Vermont Bookshop in Middlebury,
Good. So it's in local
Bear
bookstores.
Pond, Stowe, yeah. And these people who run bookshops, it's just been such a pleasure to work with them as a publisher, because they just embrace local authors. Oh, yes, of course, we'll take them. And well, I played hockey all through college, and you become, if you're going to become a hockey player, the need for training is obvious. You just need to train all the time. And so you meet people who just are at the rink all the time, rink rats. And at bookstores, they're not rink rats, they're knowledge rats. The people who work in bookstores, they're just incredible
best,
people.
right?
They love books. They're like, oh, you're an author, and they just absorb knowledge, and they compare and they contrast. So we're very fortunate to have the independent booksellers we have in this state.
So you're not doing any readings then, that my viewers. Well, maybe you should think about that. So for my viewers out there, Ed Brennan has just written this book, Just Exactly Perfect. It's a collection of his writings about skiing and the beauty of skiing and camaraderie. And I suggest you all pick this book up. It's at the local bookstores. Now, I would like you to submit your book for consideration to receive a book award at the International Ski History Association annual event. Next year it's going to be in Europe, but I would love to have you. We've got a copy, but I'd love you to submit that. I think it's worthy of recognition. And you would have to, I know you're an introvert a little bit, you said, but you'd have to probably do some reading when you get that award, or at least get up on the podium.
And go to Europe, you
And
said.
go to Europe, which would be wonderful. So do you have another book in the offing? Are you working on something else?
This is the first time I've written a book, and it's highly motivating. So I've got some ideas brewing.
What are you thinking? You gonna share? You wanna share?
Might not be skiing. Do I share that?
Yes, please do, to my viewers. Wouldn't you all love to know what Ed is planning for his next project, really? I don't know how you're going to top this book.
Well,
but, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking about Western civilization.
Aha. Fantastic.
Gandhi said it would be a good idea.
Western civilization would be a good idea.
That's what Gandhi said.
How are you feeling about that?
Well, I read a lot of psychology, and I think Western civilization went off the rails when they adopted Freudian concepts.
Interesting.
And I mentioned Karen Horney.
Fascinating.
I mentioned Karen Horney in there, and I think she was a contemporary. She wrote about psychology at the same time, but of course she was a woman, so they didn't take her seriously.
Damn.
Okay.
Damn.
And her concepts were just world-changing. And I think if Western civilization had taken those concepts, we'd be in a different place right now.
Do you think there's hope for Western civilization?
I hope so.
Well, that's your next project, and I encourage you to do that. You're a beautiful writer.
Thank
I
you.
mean, really, it's so your writing is so visual and so heartfelt. So I do encourage you to get back with. Do you write, or do you do it on your computer? Because you said that you write in your little red book. Do you?
I
What
do it all. Eventually you have to type, and I really don't like typing at all.
Okay, well, it helps your brain if you write longhand.
Exactly.
That's what they say.
Exactly.
Yeah.
My cursive has actually become pretty good. I'm working on that all the time because, like the comparison to skiing, it's a mind-body relationship. You're writing, you're connecting your mind to the end of that pen, and you're trying to form a beautiful B, for example. E, A, U, T, and you have to have perfect mind-body connection. Then you go deeper into the brain, and what are you actually saying? What's the next word going to be? And you start thinking further down the line. So it's a lot like skiing. It's mind-body connection, and it's a lost art, I think. It's the most easily accessible art. You have a pen, write. Now make it beautiful.
You're a deep thinker, very, very deep thinker. Do you spend most of your day thinking?
I read a lot.
You read a lot.
Yeah.
Because you really have a beautiful mind.
Thank you.
Truly, it's been such a treat. So what words of wisdom, Ed, what words of wisdom would you have for all of us on the state of our country right now? And how do you handle the stress and the worry?
I go skiing.
But for all the people out there who can't go skiing, I mean, what is your, I know skiing for you is it's the same with my husband. It's an outlet for him, and it's a way for him to be at one with the mountain. And you need to meet Rick, because I think the two of you would be, very connected in your love of that sport. But for the rest of us who can't find that solace in skiing, or people who can't afford to go skiing because it's an expensive sport. I mean, you're a deep thinker. You understand the state of the world. What are your words of wisdom for the rest of the folks out there who need to get a grip on what's going on?
I would recommend that people read philosophy. I think it's kind of been sequestered away in ivory towers, but philosophy, I think, belongs to humanity. And if you don't stop to ask the big questions, it's like you're traveling without a map. I think philosophy is eminently worth studying. Henry David Thoreau, Walden, I think, is life-changing reading.
You mentioned Thoreau in this article.
I quote him frequently.
Yeah, you call it, somewhere along the way, skiing becomes something more than recreation. It turns into a kind of wandering search. Lately, I've been thinking of it as a Henry David Thoreauvian journey. Yes. Yeah, an exploration in search of what is good, which of course leads to the question Robert Pirsig posed through Phaedrus in Zen and the art of motorcycle maintenance.
Again, there's if you're looking for a good book to read, Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance is fantastic.
And the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance
by Robert Pirsig, one of the best-selling books on philosophy ever, published in the 70s or so. So I'm highly influenced by Robert Pirsig, and if there's an influence on this book, it would probably be that. I mean, is that book about motorcycle maintenance?
No, but
is
Robert,
this about skiing?
No, but so Robert Pirsig, for my viewers to Google his name and maybe read his work, it's Pirsig. That's something else I want to mention to my viewers is they can go to your website. It's Edward-Brennan, BRENNAN.com, and that's Ed's website if you want to go and visit his website. So anything else that you would like to share with my viewers?
Again, I saw you using notes, so I thought I was okay.
Of course you are. You can do anything on my show. I mean, my show's pretty open-ended, right?
Yes. We've covered a lot of ground here
today. We have covered a lot of ground. Well, maybe it's time to just say thank you. Thank you for your brilliant mind, for your skiing, and for sharing us a piece of your life in the Mad River Valley and your love of skiing. And these are short chapters. They're about 1,000 words each, right? And they're short stories about Ed's life skiing in the Mad River Valley. And they're full of philosophy and beauty and wisdom. And I just love this book so much, Ed. Thank you for writing it. And so, hey, thank you for being on my show. After you write your next book on Western civilization, I'm going to invite you back.
That's motivating.
Would you come back on my show?
Oh, I absolutely would.
Oh, I would love that so much, Ed. And to my viewers, I want to thank you for joining us today. Oh, there I am. Thank you for joining me today with Ed Brennan. And I will see you soon, and enjoy this beautiful spring weather. And keep your hope in your heart. Goodbye.